Good evening, everyone. How are you doing this beautiful evening? Oh my goodness, I am super excited to be here. Wow, wow, wow. I just want to say to you guys that we are very, very sorry about any delay that, that we have. So, all right, so we're gonna get into it and we're gonna have a good time this evening because I am super excited. Like the way I talked about last week, that this evening is gonna like on Friday. Friday is gonna be amazing because of the special guest that we have. So, oh my goodness, it's a powerhouse. You guys know that I don't come with anything less. So if I'm coming with something, then it's something really, 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 really great. So I just want to say sit back and just relax. So, for some of you who don't know, we're just joining for the first time. My name is Nini Olafatai, and I'm the host of The Speaker Show. The Speaker Show, a place of inspiration, motivation, where minds are being liberated through reasonings. And most importantly, when people come in, when we have guests in, their story, the major focus, their story can always inspire someone, either you or someone that you know. So I just want to tell you that, whatever, wherever you are right now, just try as much as possible, invite your friends, your family, share with them, and let them be part of this great, 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 great evening. So without taking much of our time, so we're going to get into our guest this evening. All right, so I'm just going to give you a little bit intro about him. This is an amazing, amazing, amazing man that I have seen, he's done a lot of great, great, great things. And I have been inspired by his work because of the consistency and the determination that he puts towards whatever that it does. So I just want to say that, the way I've been inspired, I'm sure that, you guys all are gonna be inspired as well. So we have Titi Kuti with us tonight. He's a Nigerian, oh my god, a film producer and a director, an author as well too. And he's been in the industry for 15 years. So I'm telling you, you are gonna be learning from an expert, not just anyone. So he's gonna share his career with us, how he started to where he is right now. So his career has made him a lot of name, with faces how, his face has been how in, everywhere. So he's gonna tell us a little bit, a little bit about the things that he's into. So I'm just gonna bring our very, very special guest in this evening. So please, everyone, just help me welcome our dear friend, Titi Kuti. Hi, hi, hi.
Hello, Nini. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are
Good.
you?
I'm very well, very well. That's good to be here finally.
I know, I know, I know. I am so super excited to have you on the show. It is my pleasure. And I know that you're very busy, but the fact that you took the time to be with us tonight, I think it's one of the greatest things. So thank you for
For
being
sure,
here with us.
for sure. Thank you, thank you.
That's good. All right. So we're gonna get into it, and then we're just gonna like you to do a little bit of introduction of yourself to us, if that's okay.
Okay,
Because who Titi Kuti is.
okay. What do you want to know? Beg your pardon. Yeah, who's that? I'm in a meeting. I'm sorry, my brother, man. Not right now, please. I hope you don't mind. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Hi everyone. So sorry about that. I think it's just the network problem right there. So but I'm sure it's gonna be back with us in like a couple of minutes. So but before we get before it comes back, I just want to tell you guys, just be excited. And then tonight is gonna be a very, very great night.
Interview.
So I think we have him back. Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Perfect. All right. No further
Okay.
interference. You have my word on that. It's a promise.
Okay, no problem, no problem. All right, so let's get into it. All right, so tell us a little bit about you. What do you
All right.
do? Can give a little bit intro, but tell us about you.
Okay. So my name is TITI KUTI. As you said, I'm a performing actor, Nollywood film producer, humanitarian, and recently United Nations peace ambassador as of today. So
Amazing.
yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's yeah.
So I've been around for a minute. I think I started my career from modeling. Modeling transitioned into television as a host on Nigeria back then. I also worked on Channel O for a bit. For those who know Channel O back in the days, and then afterwards that transitioned into acting. My very first experience acting was, I think, about 12. What am I saying? Like 13 years ago, on the show called Emerald. Then afterwards, I went back into production behind the scene because I was still working in Nigeria at the time. So I'd already started gathering production knowledge, and the show, one of the shows that I was presenting, I was also the producer. And then somewhere around that time, big format production came to Nigeria. I think the first one was Idols West Africa. So I got a small production role on that project, and that was my introduction into mainstream production on that scale. After Idols, I did Nigeria's Got Talent season 1 and 2. I did Techno on the stage afterwards. I did Football Legends, and these are all big production shows that have 5,000, 6,000 auditions. So I was in that space for about 4 to 5 years, thereabout. And then I came back to work with the Multi Choice Network, or Mnet DSTV, as some people know it, as an associate producer too, on a show called Hustle. It was from that show that I went back into acting, not by accident per se, but circumstances. We were on location one of those days. Some actors had come, and incidentally, that's also the show that I met Shola Ali. So when they saw Shola Ali, they saw all those big stars. They felt that we were underpaying them, and then they decided to hold us to ransom right there on set, expecting that we had no option. So what I did was, one of the writers was on set. I called the writer. I told the writer to rewrite all those three characters into one, and that I was going to be the one to act it. So it was a bit of a drama on set. It was a whole lot of look because many of those guys didn't know that I had much acting experience. They did not seen me on screen before. So what they did was they said, "Look, eventually when Channel comes and if anything goes wrong, everybody's going to point their fingers to you." So I did the role so well, it became I was written in for the rest of the season of that particular series, and that's how we started again. From Emerald, myself and Shola Wale did we did the remake of a 90s series called Palace, and afterwards I did about 3 4 films before King of Voice eventually. So I think that's a summary of the past 15 years in 2 minutes.
That's very, very lovely. Oh my goodness, that's good. Wow. So you have been out there and then gaining experience and then trying to strive and then make sure like that everything just get together. All right. So my next question for you is this, everybody wants to know like when exactly did you feel or did you felt that you actually hit the limelight?
Um, I still don't feel like that
Okay.
because I didn't get into this profession because of popularity, contrary to what a lot of people think, or to be popular. If you know the kind of person I am, you realize that I'm a very private person, and when I'm not doing this, maybe acting or doing something that is contributing to the industry, I keep to myself and by myself a lot. So I don't look at it like I'm in the limelight. I feel privileged to have had the opportunity to participate in projects that have been groundbreaking and have left a permanent footprint in the redefinition of Nollywood as an industry. And by that, when people see me in the public and they celebrate me, that's how I respond to them. Like when you feel like you've served them right and they're telling you well done for your service, that's how it feels for me. So I don't really look at it like I've been in the limelight. Whatever attention that comes, as long as it is positive and it is something that is growing the career forward, yes, I welcome it. And for some time now, that has remained consistent since King of Boys. Let me just put it that way.
I know that's what everybody wants to hear. The king of voice.
Thank you.
And I'll tell you, like that was such a great one. And we would like to know, like we would like to know more about the King of Boys because you guys did the part one and then you did the two as well. So like how was it for you? Working working as or being in the character of Adi Tiger.
Well, I would say that Ade Tiger was a very unique character from the very first time sure, me getting that role itself has its own story. It's a story on its own. The film of how I came to be Ade Tiger has to be made into a separate film because it's a it's very unique circumstances. So the truth is, when initially they started shooting King of Boys, they had started filming with somebody else completely.
Hmm.
So, but myself and Shola Shibowale had just finished the film before then. Then she started filming with Kemi Adetiba. I, at the time, was shooting MTV Sugar with Smart Media as an associate producer. But she had been telling Kemi about me. Like, there's this guy that I know, I know he's very good. And when she read the script, she envisioned this guy is 100% the person that can lock this character up. So even while they were on set, she didn't stop mounting the pressure. But I didn't know all of that. I went on location to go and say hello to her. It was just a casual visit. And then 2 minutes after, she excuses herself, goes into the washroom to make a telephone call. I wasn't sure what was going on all that time until about 10 minutes later when Kemalitiba walked in and then we introduced ourselves. So then I started seeing the signs that these people had a conversation behind my back. I hope I'm not in trouble or anything. So, but then she now, from having one or two chats, she just went right to it. Like, do you mind doing a quick audition for us right here? And I'm like, yeah, bring it on. And then she brought the script, and I did two scenes for her. Two scenes that I'd never seen before. So I literally did the audition for King of Boys in Shola Shibowale's room while they started filming. So as soon as Kemi saw the audition, she called her brother Remy, who at the time was the producer of the film, and they had a discussion. And the end of that discussion was that the person who was already acting at the Tiger had to be paid off completely to step down.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they paid him off completely to step down. And then he stepped down, and
Are you still with us? All right. So I think there's network issue right there. All right. So how is everyone doing? How you get okay, he's back. Hello? Hello? Okay, so we're gonna take a quick break while we wait for him to get back to us. Okay? All right. So everyone, let's just take like 2 seconds break and hopefully he's gonna be back with us. We'll be right back. All right. Okay. So anyone who is looking to to get into the movie industry, like I'm sure like most of you have heard from him, what led him into the scene that got him into limelight, that got him into that huge attention is just because of his consistency. It's just because he's so dedicated. He took his work so seriously. And I want to use that means to encourage
hear
each
me?
and every one of us. Okay, great. So he's here. He's back.
Finally.
Okay.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Mm,
Can you hear us? Hello?
can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, well, I can't hear you, so I think it must be from your end. You might have to unmute your mic.
Um, I'm not sure, but we can hear you.
Uh,
How about now?
One moment, let me try something. Hello?
Can you hear me?
So
Can you
timed
hear
out.
me?
I'm not sure which one, but I
Hear me?
can. Mm, do you want me to leave and join back immediately?
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right, everyone. So, like I was saying before, so I'm using this means to, like, to encourage each and everyone. Whatever you're doing, just keep at it. Just keep doing it. Keep going. Don't give up. Don't quit, because you never know, that one person that will see you, that will believe in you, that will see the best in you. You just never know who that person is. And so fortunate for him, Shola Shubawale was that person for him. So, I just want to encourage each and every one of you. So please just be dedicated, be consistent, keep going, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up, because the best is yet to come. What you think is not valid today, what you think doesn't matter today, what you think is not giving you the best result that you want today, it doesn't mean it's not going to give you tomorrow. It's going to be that same thing that you keep on, that same thing that you work on, that same thing that you are doing is what is going to make the way for you tomorrow. So please just let's just keep doing what we're doing. Let's love what we do. Put your best into it. Be the best at it. It doesn't matter what level. It might be job, you might be a real estate agent, and then things are not working out, no, there's not a lot of clients and all that, just keep on going. Keep on going. Don't give up, because a time is coming that you're going to get a lot of sales. If you're a student, you're going to school and it's so challenging, things are pretty hard for you. You can't comprehend things, or maybe there's too many things going on. Just don't give up, because at the time you are going to graduate, you're going to be so happy. Or maybe you're done schooling and you're just out there, trying to find something, trying to find a job. Don't give up. Set your standard. Set what you want for yourself, and just keep up at it. Keep going. Keep going. I can emphasize that a lot, because the more you do, the better you become. So, all right. So we have our guest right here back with us. All right. Can you hear me?
Everything that wants to put a problem into this interview shall be put asunder.
Yeah, man.
All right. I think we're back. We're back. I'm not sure if it was my internet that timed out or yours, but it was obviously internet problems, for sure.
I know. Thank God be good now.
Yeah, yeah. So that's pretty much the story behind King of Boys, if I remember correctly. So I ended up not going home that day because Kemi was very, very worried that if he goes, then he'll come back in 3 days' time. He needs to start tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Don't worry, we'll not give him the scenes with the heavy lines, but So it was just a case of preparation meets opportunities. And then I asked to meet the guy who actually was playing the role. Uh, just to have a conversation with him to just to find out if there was any hard feelings. Because if there was, I made up my mind I was going to turn the job down. Like I'd rather go for another opportunity than deny somebody of their. So, but he was good. I mean, left to him, the fact that he was getting full pay for
What
4 days
did
job
he?
was fine. It was all right. Like no problem. But like like all the best. And here we are today.
Wow, wow. And then popularly known as Titi Kut, I mean, sorry, popularly known as Ade Tiger. Wow, wow, wow. That's quite inspiring. And I love the fact that, like the way you said it, that opportunity met preparation, which I think is one of the most important things. It's human, when we prepare, when we put a lot of work into what we do, we don't take it for granted. We keep seeing, even though it's not working, but we keep putting our best into it. We give all of us into it. And this is always the result that comes out of it. Wow.
Correct.
I'm happy for you and congratulations.
Thank you.
Because it ended up being one of the greatest movie. I watched the movie and I was like, man, this is so good. And I noticed that whatever Kenny does, oh my goodness,
Oh
she's
yeah,
amazing. She's a great producer. And it
you're
was
exceptional.
movie. It was such a great movie. It was
Get
such a
ready though. We are getting back to camp to shoot some more King of Boys for you guys next year. So be ready.
great. I like that. Wow.
It's
Okay.
inside scoop on certainty. You
Wow.
heard it first on your show, on the speaker show.
That's it.
King of
That's
Boys is
it.
coming back in 2025. First quarter, actually.
That's good. Wow. 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 I'm sure, everyone is going to be pretty excited. We're going to be
Oh, yeah,
looking forward to it.
for sure.
Wow. That's good. That's good. All right. So we're going to move on. I'm going to ask you this. What is the most rewarding part of any production process that you've been part of?
What is the most, say that again, please?
Rewarding part of it.
The most rewarding part.
Hmm.
The entire process has been rewarding. As a matter of fact, even the productions that did not come out successful added to my experience. And trust me, I've been on productions that have gone haywire. Like I've seen crisis in productions over and over again. Like you know, I was having a production here in Canada some time back, and then the production manager came to meet me and was asking me, like, how can you be so calm when everything is? I'm like, if you haven't seen what I've seen, if you see what I've seen, this is not good. So basically, it's always been an all-round encompassing experience for me. The experience from start to finish, regardless of how it turns out. Although we strive for excellence and perfection, but sometimes in the process, some productions do not turn out exactly how you want it. It's part of the process. Don't let that discourage you.
That's good. That's good. Going after after what you just said now, I wanna ask, how do you actually even recharge yourself? When people are like calm, and then I know that majority of it is part of the experience, but how do you recharge yourself after actually a demanding shoot?
Well, so it's called the decompression period. When I finished acting King of Boys, I was at the Tiger for a couple of months. It took a while for me to get out of that character because I'd absorbed it so much. And that's what I do with every film that I go on. I decompress because for my character to be so believable, for it to be have that level of believability, it means I became that character while I was working. It wasn't acting anymore. It was real. I became the character. So it's a decompression period. For production is a little different. You understand? Because production, the emotions required for production
Mhm,
is not the same type that you need to engage for acting. The more of you need more of ruggedity and grit for
mhm.
production. So I mean, I can move from one production to the other. All I need is maybe just 24 hours rest. But this is only because I've done this over years, and I did it in one of the most challenging places to shoot and learn film in Nigeria. Nigeria is That's why you see any producer that comes from Nigeria can film anywhere in the world because the schooling is different.
I agree. I agree. And that leads me to the next question actually. So it's like, you're just taking the words from my mouth. I was gonna ask actually that because I know it's different. Being an actress as well, too. I know that there's a huge difference in the industry. But what would you say? Like, what would you say would be a way forward, especially to to the industry in Canada here?
Just one word: collaboration. That's it.
I like that.
That's all, collaboration. Because in Nigeria, you have you have competition also, but the competition is still collaborative, just the same way you have in America. If you look at most of the big films that you've seen out there that really break the box office, go and look at their end credits. You will see that they collaborate with other studios that have their own big names up. So everybody comes together, makes magic, makes money, and they go on to do their separate things. In Nigeria, it's the same thing too. Like December is coming now, you already know that Tony Abraham is going to drop a film. You know that what do you call her name? Jennifer Funke Akindele is going to drop like a couple of people are scheduled to drop, but everybody will make their own market. And these guys, you see them supporting themselves. You know, they are both like at the moment. AY is promoting this film. What's my friend's name? Omoni Oboli is also promoting her film at the same time, and then AY interviews Omoni Oboli. on his own show, and they're talking about her own film while he's promoting his film.
Mm-hmm.
And this guys, and eventually they do a collaborative. So I don't think the Canadian industry understands the strength in collaboration and the way filming is. You can only go so far by yourself. So
Absolutely.
that's the only thing I think I can encourage. There are lots of people that know the job here. Um, in my time of trying to do one or two things here in Toronto, I've met a couple of people that are okay. These guys actually, some of them went to some of the finest film schools, Toronto Film School, and the rest. They have the practical knowledge and they have the will for it. But that collaboration part is where the link actually is. If that can be fostered, then the sky is the limit. Sky is the beginning,
I like
actually.
that. I like that. I like that. I like that. And and I believe also that, with that, it's gonna progress.
Oh, for sure.
Like there's gonna be a huge turnaround. And the good thing that I see is that, we can compare it. Are you there? All right. So I think it's just the internet issue. So I am so sorry. We're so sorry that, there's been, internet challenge back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So um all right. So what I would just say to us tonight is that I'm sure it's gonna be back with us as soon as possible. And then we're gonna have him just take some questions, and we all just gonna, if there's anyone here, like whatever he has been saying, and you feel that, there's some kind of areas that, that you like to ask, either for you or for someone else, especially like in the area of the industry, you can as well please just drop your questions, and we can have a great time, when he comes back and he can takes the question. All right, so I am excited because you see the speaker show, like I always say to each and every one of you, when we come together, when we support one another, it's one of the great. Okay, all right. So our guest is back with us. Just give me 1 second. All right.
Principalities are striving to work against us today, but they shall not prevail.
Amen.
My bad.
All right, that's good. Okay, so what we'll do now is that we're gonna take questions because there's been a lot of questions here from our audience,
Okay.
and there's so many. And I'm gonna be reading some here, and we're gonna answer the questions.
Go
So,
ahead.
all right. So, someone said, "What are your thoughts when you acted that role?" I think it was like about the Adi Tiger.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Well, my thought was becoming a tiger. As I said, I took my so part one was not as heavy as part two. So part one was the introduction of the character. Although Kemi had told me from back then that look, if this film gets a continuity from Netflix, prepare for a lot of work in part two, which was so part two required me to take more time to absorb the character. I took about 2.5 months of doing nothing, just reading the script and building the character, building the energy before we got on set. So what you saw is not something. It's not. They didn't just give me script and put me on set and put camera on me. I built it, and that's what it takes. That's the way the guys abroad in America and in Hollywood, that's how they do it. That's how you can achieve excellence. I know that I have some colleagues who are able to do 4 or 5 films at the same time. But for me, the clash of characters, no matter how well you
Hmm.
think you did, or no matter how convincing you are, if you even
Hmm.
if you're a genius, you will still have given a lot more if you took those projects one at a time. So that's
That's
how I operate. I do one at a time. While I was doing King of Boys, I had 4 other scripts. I didn't take any of them, I turned them down. And this was scripts that came with good money. So it wasn't about the money per se, it was the commitment to craft.
hmm
And
that's
that's what I always put forward first. So that I think that answers my question to you. It wasn't a thought. it was a built up momentum
That's good.
that led to the kind of results that you saw.
Wow, that's good. Okay, so we're gonna jump to the next one. So someone here said, was there any challenges you went through?
5 billion. If you're talking about King of Boys, we had a billion. As a matter of fact, I'm waiting for the day myself and Kemi will sit on a podcast. Unfortunately, it's not happened since we shot the film, and that's about 4 years ago now. Um, and we just talk about some of the things that we went through and some of the challenges we faced.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the scenes that you saw that really made the magic, the work that went into it. That final scene where there was a shooting and everything, we shot that scene 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 times that we were supposed to shoot, well, the lighting alone for that whole place, the lighting and the set took about 6 hours. And we were shooting at night.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as it got dark, the set and props guys and the light guys rolled in, and they were there till about 2 o'clock. As soon as they finished their work and it was time to start filming, the rain started falling and did not stop until morning.
Mm-hmm.
And this
Wow.
happened twice. This happened twice. The third time that we were supposed to shoot there, one of the crew members had a minor incident on set. We had to strike.
Mm-hmm.
The fourth
Wow.
time we were supposed to shoot there, one of my colleagues, Reminisce, was on a Guinness activation at the time, and the activation they lapsed one day, so he couldn't come. And everybody was on set. We had gotten all the extras. Like we had crazy challenges, but the energy that everybody had, the synergy and the will for excellence that we all had, made every single person break every last drop of sweat to bring that film to life.
Amazing. Years ago, I learned this from this lady, Beyonce. And she said that when she's working, she put everything that she has into the work. And she won't sleep. And if she doesn't sleep, then no one is sleeping.
Real talk. That's Kema Adetiba for you.
So if
Kema
she's not
Adetiba will start the
sleeping,
fire. There were
mhm,
times that we had actually struck the sets, and then we'll be on our way back to camp, and then Kemi will just some idea of how
mhm,
to salvage the night without allowing all that money and equipment waste to just drop in there, and she just drop it in the actors group. Surprisingly, nobody will have an objection to it. We just all laugh about it. Even the much older guys like my older colleague and big Egbo RMD, like we just laugh about these things. And like RMD literally shot until 5 in the morning, and he had a 9 a.m. flight. He eventually missed the flight. He had to buy a fresh ticket that same day.
wow.
So like we you can't imagine what everybody gave for King of Boys, but we're happy for what it did, not just for Nollywood. That
Mhm,
film, there is no how you want to look at it. There have been several defining moments in Nollywood. King of Boys was one of them. It was the turning point for a lot of things. All the streaming platforms that you see in Nigeria now that are, that was the turning point. That was what gave everybody the confidence that look, yes, we can break back in Nigeria. Because
mhm,
Netflix was just fresh in Nigeria, then they were still trying to. That was their first original that they decided to go ahead on, and it was a win. So it wasn't just about the film; it was a win for Nollywood.
mhm. Wow. I 100% agree. And I see that at the end of the day, there's nothing as good as wherever you find yourself, you give in all of you. There's nothing as good. It doesn't matter how big the job is. It doesn't matter how small the job is. It doesn't matter the kind of job it is. Wherever you find yourself, you put in all of you in it. And that's the only way one can get result.
One
Because
hundred.
when there's nothing there, when your mind is not there, there's no how you can bring in the energy,
One
right?
hundred.
So because of that, then you're able to to do as many things as you want to get the result that you want. All right,
Correct.
so we'll move to the next question. So someone said here, what is that thing that keep you going?
Passion. It's just raw passion. Passion. Passion has become purpose for me, and that's in this line of career. I mean, if I've been an actor for 15 years, it means that I've been in the industry generally for about 20 years. We're looking at like 2000 2006, 2005. That's about the time I started. So if I've used all of my middle age in this industry, there is nowhere else I'm going to make a footprint in the sand of time. There's nothing else I'm going to use to leave my mark in this lifetime apart from this industry. So it was the case of passion became purpose for me.
Wow.
And that's what makes me tick till now.
Amazing, amazing. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna take another question right here. And the question says that what three advice can you tell people who want to be in the same career like you?
Okay, so what I would say is that you should ask yourself why. That's the first thing. Why is what would identify your purpose. If your why is for popularity, and you like the whole attention that comes with being in the public space and all of that, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but you see, the kind of challenges that comes with this line of career, if you are not if you are not if you're not psychologically fortified, it can break you. That's the reason why you see lots of very popular people do crazy stupid things, and you wonder, what. It's because until you get into it, you need to have a passion for this career. You need to understand why you have that passion. Are you are you in there because you want to make positive impact on the world, or what is driving, what is fueling that passion? If you can answer that why, it will identify if you're in the right profession first and foremost. Because I can tell you there are a lot of people who want to be on screen that this whole space is not meant for them.
Mm-hmm.
And if they find themselves in there, it's tragedy that will end. It's going to be tragic.
Mm-hmm.
So identify your why. Know if this place is your calling. You will have been seeing the signs. For me, I started seeing the signs from very early in life. I had been a creative person from very young ages. I had always been very expressive. And then, getting into modeling, then things just kind of started to transition. So what you see on TV, like I invited a friend of mine on film sets just to just to give him a different feel of life, because he is an engineer. He works a serious job. He thinks his job is a serious job where, I'm an engineer. So actors, you people just act. I will just like.
Just play around.
So I invited him on location one of those days. So he was there for 2 days with me. One of those days when I was filming in Ibadan, and as a matter of fact, it was my last film. It was Anikulakbo. I'm sure some of my colleagues can testify to his visit when he came. It was a redefining moment for him when he saw the commitment that was required. People have to get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, like he saw the process. He saw how many times we had to retake scenes to get close up, to get wide, to get medium close up, to get depth of, like, is this what you people do?
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, he wasn't the one acting, but on the third day he couldn't go on set with me. As at the time I was taking a shower and going on set to go and film, he did, like, I was waking him up. He just act like, just leave me alone. He came to meet me there. So from that moment, he had a different perspective of what we do as actors. Like, it's not a joke.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a joke. What it will take from you. You can't. If you're programmed for 9 to 5, you cannot function in this industry. I mean, it will shut you down. You can't do it. You can only go so far. So
Yes.
back to the question, identify your why first. Once you have decided that you want to be in this industry, and you have seen that you have the passion, your passion is genuine, the next thing you need to do is to appreciate process and growth. For some people, things will happen faster than themselves. I
Mm-hmm.
had people that we started acting together that, as at 2014, 15, 16, when I was in co-production, they had already blown up as actors. Some of these guys were on Tinsel together when they started. So, but
Mm-hmm.
because I understood the process and the growth, eventually when I was going to have that attention on me, I had built up a lot of experiences, even from their own mistakes, and it was all encompassing. So don't be in a rush to it's being in a rush to cut corners that leads you to do some certain things. You hear some things that happen on locations, on sets. Some women have some unpleasant stories. It's because one way or the other they might have shown desperation. I'm not saying that they're not crazy people that try to take advantage, but If you're a process oriented person, you know that this thing will take its process, it's run its course.
Mm-hmm.
You might find yourself running into some trouble that you might not be able to manage. That's the
Mm-hmm.
second thing. The third and most important thing, your ultimate mission should be impact. You just know that it's a life of service. It's a
Mm-hmm.
life of service. Even the attention, that's why you are called a public figure. It means you belong to the public. It means
Mm-hmm.
your service is in it's for the public.
Mm-hmm.
So when they see you and they appreciate you, don't let it get into your head and think, oh, you are one celebrity. No. These people are just appreciating the fact that you have given them an experience. Like
Absolutely.
people, there are no people that watch King of Boys and they couldn't recover from the experience of the film for months. And every time they see me, they can't because that at that very moment, whatever it is that was their sorrows or their troubles, it didn't matter. That film took them to a place of happiness. And that
Mm-hmm.
is your ultimate compensation. It's not even the money.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope the person who asked the questions took note of the three things. Identify your why. No, that will tell you if you need to be in the profession first and foremost. Number two, understand that you could take a process. Number three, no, it's a life of service.
Wow, wow, wow. I love those three advice. I love them. And you know the one I love the most?
Surprise me.
Process and growth. I feel like, you nailed that, because a lot of times people don't understand the process and that growth. People don't understand. Even in any job, even in business, even as a small business, or like, running your own company or doing something that you love, I realize that people need to understand, that process and growth. Because when you understand the process and growth, you won't want to compare yourself to others, because it won't matter what others are doing. It won't bother you. So maybe you see, because people don't understand the process and growth. I see that that's why people, when they get to some certain stage in their life, that's when they're like, oh, this common phrase that people always say, that they'll be like, oh, me and this person, like, we are together, and then this person is far gone, and me, I'm here, me, I'm that, and then they kind of put themselves in these little box, just because they refuse to understand the process and the growth. Because this is something that everyone needs to know, understand. So I really appreciate the fact that you mentioned that. Thank you so much for that.
For sure.
All right. So we're gonna move on, and then we're gonna take one more last question from the
Oh
crowd.
yeah, like take the whole night.
There are a lot of questions right here, trust me.
It's okay. How many have we taken now? We've
I
taken
can
about three, right?
I think three or five.
Okay, let's just take a few more. Like we never know when this opportunity will present itself again. Let's take a few more. I'll just
Okay,
shorten the responses and then we
okay.
can punch on.
All right, sounds good. Okay. So someone said here that, what will you give up? What will you give up for your career, if there is?
I don't think there's anything I can give. Well, if they're asking, the question is tricky. So I don't know. I'm not sure if they mean what I'm willing to give or what I'm not willing to give. It sounds tricky. But
Okay.
I'm here. I'm in this. There's nothing else I'd rather do first, and
Mhm.
um, I don't think there's anything yet that I haven't sacrificed for this job so far. And I'm talking about not just professionally, even personally. I don't think there are sacrifices that only only the practitioner can tell. Like you really have to have a mission for you to be able to sacrifice. Like I've taken a lot of hits, and I think every entertainer that you find that is at a certain pedestrian will have a story to tell, or the other. It's the job that actually takes a lot from you. It does.
Absolutely.
So, but the
Absolutely.
point is, the ultimate satisfaction is how much impact is it making on the world.
Hmm.
That's what it all comes down to. So I can't think of the thing yet that that I haven't one way or the other sacrificed to for the purpose of this job. And I don't think the sacrifices are going to stop anytime soon. But the thing is, as we grow and mature, we're able to navigate and we're able to decide better judgment on
Mhm.
the impact of sacrifices.
Mhm. Perfect. Okay, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna take another question real quick. So someone said, "What is your thought about failure? Meaning, how do you feel? How do you view rejection?"
Oh, it's a part of the process, man. For me, I learned that very early in life. Very early in life. Even before I got into the media, I've always been somebody that can take failure in the chain and move on. And believe me, I in the course of this journey, I have my own very, very fair share of failures. It's a part of the process. I mean, there is nothing that teaches you more or better than a failure.
Mm-hmm.
Where it becomes bad is if you don't learn from it. But it's a part of the process. And sometimes in the course of this career, some of them can hit hard. I've gotten into serious debt
Mm-hmm.
because of a project that I wouldn't say failed, but went out of control for circumstances that were not within my control. I had an
Mm-hmm.
actor on set. I'm not going to mention any names because I don't want any steam. A long time ago, I had an actor on set that was filming, and he also does comedy skits. He had done some skits that slighted a popular pastor in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking like 2015 or thereabout. So this pastor goes to get, I'm not sure if it's a petition or whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and comes to pick him up from sets. He was arrested on my location, and everybody was afraid to go to the station with him because they didn't know what he did. They
Mm-hmm.
thought maybe it could have been maybe internet fraud or something because he was a young guy, all those things. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
the one that was entrusted with the money for production, and I know how much it's going to waste for that day. So I was the only one that went to the station with him, and that was when I found out that it was because he made a joke that could have just been a passing joke about a popular pastor, and the pastor and he was there for 3 days.
Wow.
And for those 3 days, the money that wasted, because the entirety of those scenes, well, in short, the reason why we're able to salvage the fourth day is because we quickly had to see how to reorganize the schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But those
Wow.
first 3 days, all the extras we had paid, all the equipment we had rented, all the locations we had sorted, waste.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
So,
Wow.
and I mean, I mean, you are the producer on set. That falls on your shoulders. So
Mm-hmm.
there's some that sometimes it doesn't mean it's not every time that it's. There are times it will be your fault. There are times it won't be your fault. But you have to be able to take it in the chin.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I feel that, like, those process, like, I mean, that's part of the job. Any job you even find yourself. I love generalizing because, there are other people here who are not into fame, who are not into productions and all those things. So, um I just see that, like, it's just part of the process. It's part of it. These are things that you just you have to take on and know how, to balance everything. And out of it all, you're still gonna have to, like, to be happy at
Oh,
the
yeah.
end of the day. So one quick question that I have for you. So we're back to you right now.
All right,
Because
let's go.
trust me, we're not gonna finish these questions because these guys keep sending more and more and more and more.
It's all right. We'll do as much as we can. I mean, tomorrow might not be another opportunity, so
Mhm.
we'll do as much
Absolutely,
as we can.
absolutely. So my question for you is this. So what do you think about, a great storytelling apart from the rest?
What?
When
Say that again, please.
a great storytelling, like, for example, now, like, when you have a story, there's some that, like, they're very great, and there's some that, like, just kind of all over the place. So how do you feel about, like, a great story?
So I think it always boils down to the execution. If you know what I mean, there are some stories that when you read it on paper are amazing, but the execution is what throws it around the place. And that there are some stories that eventually on paper initially were not so strong, but the direction that it was shot, the
Hmm.
direction, how the way he kind of puts it together. But the truth is, every great film that you've seen today starts from a great story, and every great story has potential. And I think writers are not appreciated enough for the amount of work that they do. They don't get enough credit for what they do. I will say this for free, because that's the genesis. Everything that makes people stars or breaks the bank for the producer starts from the writing.
Mm-hmm.
And then a lot of times, if you don't scroll to the end credit of a film, you might not even know who wrote the film.
That's
You only
true.
know the name of the producer. So
Yes.
I think it's very important to understand that the writing process, screenplay, um, is one of the most integral. It's like the foundation of the film itself. If you can
Mm-hmm.
get the screenplay right, you can get the writing, you can get the storyboard, you can articulate it in such a way that is sequential, and then you know this is the beginning of the film, this is the climax of the film, this is the end of the film, regardless of if it ends in tragedy or thriller or action or drama. It has that. There's a sequence, there's a flow to it. As long as you can articulate that flow accordingly, you have done 50% of the job.
Mm-hmm.
The other 50% is execution.
Wow.
Does that answer your question?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay. So we're gonna jump a little bit because we're gonna round up very soon.
All right.
And I'm sure there's still a little bit things that we would like to know about you. So is there anything like I know you mentioned like earlier on about like having a legacy and all that. So what do you think generally that you think the legacy is gonna be?
My legacy is going to be all encompassing, and it's going to spread beyond just the filming industry. You understand? Because what it does is it exposes you to certain things, and then your interest will not gravitate. Like now, I'm doing things with the United Nations and stuff. These are humanitarian agencies. It really has nothing to do with acting per se or production, but it's just because they have seen that this is what this person's core interest is in, and he's willing to use his influence for
Mhm,
humanitarian services, to better people. So it's not going to be. It's going to be the when the book when the books are going to be written eventually by whoever is coming behind. It's going to cut across board a lot of places. So I'm hoping it to cut across board a lot of places. One
amazing.
thing that they will all share in common is impact. It will always be positive impact all the way.
Amazing, amazing. So one quick question. So what's behind your dressing? Because I know you're always dressing in a certain way all the time. So if you can tell us, like we would like to know.
Well, today I just got in from an event. All right,
Okay,
the same event I spoke to you about, the induction ceremony.
absolutely.
As soon as I get off the phone now, I'm headed to another event. So that explains today. If in case it seems I seem a little overdressed. For,
That's
so,
okay. That's fine.
but generally, I try to represent the culture, one way or the other. Especially when I'm like in the Western world, anywhere I am, you have to know, not not that I'm just from Africa. You have to have an idea that this person is Nigerian.
Hmm.
So I, one way or the other, I always throw that in there. Like you can see what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a blazer, which is like pretty much corporate Western, but this hat you can tell this is an African man. This is a Nigerian guy's hat. You understand,
Hmm.
with the designs and the stone pedals and everything, you can tell. So it's always throwing a tinge of identity.
Hmm.
I'm not one of those people that ever wants to lose my cultural identity. I'm an African, I'm a Nigerian, and then I'm a Yoruba boy. Do you
I like
understand? So those three things, yeah, those three things, you would see it in my look. I'm very well. Sometimes I can dress like an Igbo guy because I love all cultures. One of the things that I
that.
find very intriguing is to study and appreciate other people's cultures. But I still know who I am first.
Hmm.
So that's the inspiration. My outfit will always give you, a tinge of he's an African. You can know that this is an African you're speaking to
I like
anywhere
that.
you are in the world.
I like that. I like that. And I saw the one for last week. you know, like we saw each other last week,
Oh
right?
yes, congratulations
Yeah,
on
and then
your award.
congratulations. And that I love so much. Like your style is so inspiring one way or the other. And just keep about it. I believe
Thank
like
you.
everybody gotta have one thing that that they like, that they're good at, so that you can call your own thing. So I feel like, that's your own thing.
Thank you.
All right, that's so good. Like it's so nice having you on the show. Like, it's very, very wonderful. And just real quick, I want to ask, like, what would you tell my audience? Now, understand that I have people in all kinds of profession over here. So not just into movie industry, but like, all kinds of walk of life. So what would you tell my audience?
So, the first thing I want to tell your audience is a very big thank you for keeping it consistent with you. It takes a lot to build a community, and what you seem to have here is a community of its own. And if there was no participation from them, if they have not been loyal to you, the show won't be going on. It's because you know they are there. That has become a drive for you too. So I'm going to thank them first, and I want to please encourage them to continue watching the show. Um, I will not be the last person that she will bring. There will be more interesting people. There will be other people that she will bring that was part of the show. I'm just doing my time here. So thank you guys first and foremost for being such amazing audience, and thank you for such beautiful the questions that they've asked today show how interactive and how involved they are in the show, and that for me it means a lot because I mean that's how you know that you're actually making impact. I also want to encourage them to try and pursue their passions, and every passion should eventually lead to positive impact. There has to be something that is immaterial that is driving you. I know that we live in a material world where everything is tied to what you're able to do with your material availability or material accomplishments, material resources. But for subsistence, there has to be something immaterial that is driving you. There has to be something
Absolutely.
that if you take money away from, you will still do. For me, that's film, this industry. So you
Hmm.
need, if you have not found that thing yet, just know that whatever you are doing at the moment, you are headed somewhere. So put your heart to it so that you can earn a living. When you find that thing, eventually you should be able to commit some time to it, eventually till it becomes permanent. And then eventually, I mean, if everybody has this mindset, the world would be a much better place for us all.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's so kind of you. I appreciate that so much. I appreciate that. I appreciate that so much. And you are such an amazing person. And then, like I said, there's so many people that you inspire. You inspire me as well too. So, like your dedication, like you just doing your own thing and then putting the best into it, I think is one of the most delightful thing that anyone could actually learn. And then you are actually like an example of a real, real, real consistency. And I'm happy for you that he has led you into a great place, that it calls so many attentions, and then so many greatness. And then I just wish you all the best,
Thank
because I
you.
know the best is yet to come. We've
Oh,
just
for
seen a
sure.
little bit of Adi Tiger. I know this. There's greater more of what we're gonna see.
For sure.
So I know the best is yet to come, and I just want to say thank you. I know we didn't go through all my questions because it's like almost an hour now, but
We'll,
hopefully, like,
we'll do it again. We'll do part two.
absolutely, and then the question will be like, it will be all perfect. So, and the funniest thing is that I'll tell you this: the funniest thing is that I have in the comment section that I think about two people or so that they kept on mentioning that, are you gonna come back? Are you gonna come back? So I was leaving that to the last. So
We'll do it for them. For sure.
yeah, we have to. I will hang you like this in the hand.
We'll
So
do it for
what's
them.
happening
We'll do it
whenever
for
I
them.
see you outside?
No, I mean, at least now you've had interaction with me. I'm not a difficult person to. A lot of people have this
Absolutely.
ideology that I'm like I'm a difficult. I don't know where they find it from. They just think. they just see me as such an unapproachable person. But life is much more simple than that. I'm sure you
Abs-
can tell the tale now. If somebody say, that guy, we'll leave him.
I
You're
know.
going to say, no, 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 he's really not like that. You just talk to him and
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I'm so happy that that we made it out. I'm so happy, and hopefully soon or sooner we're gonna see you
for
again.
sure, for
Yes.
sure, for sure.
Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you,
Thank
and
you.
just keep doing your thing and keep inspiring us.
For
Thank
sure,
you
for
so
sure.
much,
Thank you.
everyone. Help us say bye to our guest, and then it's
Bye, guys.
time. All right, everyone. Wow, wow, wow. It's such a great time. Oh, my goodness. And I am so happy that, each and every one of you, you waited till the end. You guys are amazing. This wouldn't have been possible without you guys and your dedication, your time, wanting to be on the show. It's so incredible. And I just want to say from the depth of my heart, thank you very, very much for joining the Speaker Show. Now, I want to tell you something. It's so beautiful that you've been here, but I want to tell you, please just try as much as possible. If you haven't subscribed on the channel, please subscribe so you can always get something exciting, something educative, something that will inspire your life one way or the other. It can be through other people's story, or it might be through teaching that we have on the show. So please subscribe and follow us. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok. We're right there. Follow us on Facebook at The Speaker Show. We're right there. So, there's so much more. And do not forget to share with your friends and family. Your loved one, please share with them. Share with them. Let everyone be part of this great time that we have. So, I just want to say, everyone, make sure you have a very wonderful night. And my word for you before you go tonight, my word for you is whatever you're doing, wherever you are, just don't have to mind. Make up your mind that this is what you want to do. This is all you've got, and give it your best. Anyone that have double mind don't always end up making it out at the end of the day. But when you make up your mind and you are determined and you make that decision that this is what I want to do, I just want to encourage you to just keep doing your thing and have a very wonderful night. And next week, I'm going to see, no, next week, we don't have a show next week. Okay. So I'm going to see you on the upper week, and have a very wonderful night. I remain your host, your one and only on the Speaker Show, Nini Olafatai. Thank you for joining.